Belichick's sideline moment, why a short clip blew up into a big story. Bill Belichick's move to North Carolina has always been going to come with close scrutiny. Every gesture, every cheat sheet, every sideline dress choice would be magnified. Still, Saturday's pregame clip of Belichick speaking with his girlfriend, Jordon Hudson, on the sideline did something simple and immediate. It reframed the narrative around a 34-9 loss to UCF from a game story into a cultural moment. Video of the exchange went viral within hours, and social media instantly decided how to interpret it. Distraction, inappropriate optics, or just two people talking, and the debate exploded from there. Yahoo Tetao. There were 3 linked flashpoints that turned a quiet sideline moment into national coverage. First, the clip itself. Cameras caught Hudson leaning in and whispering to Belichick while players warmed up, which some viewers tagged as a distraction. Second, high-profile media figures and former coaches, Jon Gruden among them, publicly mocked or criticized the optics on national shows, turning a local moment into talking head fuel. SI third, UCF leaned into the moment with pointed social media trolling after the win, which amplified the sense that Belichick's sideline behavior had become part of the story rather than an aside. New York Post. Why the reaction makes sense and why some of it is overblown. 3 dynamics explain why people reacted so strongly. 1, Belichick is a symbol. He's the most scrutinized coach alive. Anything he does will be read as an omen about preparation and seriousness. When you're that symbolic, informal moments look like strategy or sloppiness. 2, optics matter more than intent. In sports, perception and narrative often outrun the facts. Fans and media don't get to see every backstage conversation. They see a 2-second frame and fill in the rest. That gap gets filled with suspicion when a team performs poorly. 3, the modern media ecosystem accelerates outrage. Clips spread, influencers weigh in, and sports talk shows monetize hot takes. A quiet sideline chat becomes a national hot-button issue in an hour. That said, it's worth separating legitimate criticism from performative takes. A coach can have a personal life and still be professional. A brief pregame chat does not prove unpreparedness any more than a grin proves indifference. But in Belichick's case, the margin for off-field curiosity is narrow, so even small moments get magnified. The Gruden angle and the Lombardi subplot. The moment gained additional heat when Jon Gruden joked about it on Wake Up Barstool, ribbing UNC exec Mike Lombardi, who's in the program's front office, and suggesting Lombardi would have to explain the optics. That's a classic sports media pivot. Call out the headliner, poke the nearby executive, and let the audience pick a side. Gruden's reaction is less an indictment of Belichick than a sports radio riff that landed because it matched the crowd's mood, incredulous and hungry for explanation. SI small detail, Lombardi's presence in the program gives critics an easy target. If a team's front office has a former NFL exec and the head coach is doing sideline interviews with non-staff, folks will ask whether process is breaking down. That's the narrative pressure cooker teams now live in. UCF's trolling and the Central Florida kerfuffle. UCF had fun with the moment, posting memes and jabs that turned the clip into locker room fertilizer. Then there's the separate line about Belichick reportedly referring to UCF as Central Florida, which Coach Scott Frost called ammo that fired up his team. That double whammy, awkward sideline optics plus a perceived slight, made it easy for UCF to savor the win publicly and for the national media to latch onto a storyline that tied on-field performance to pregame theater. New York Post, the AI video wrinkle. Don't trust everything you see. Another quick turn note, within the swirl of posts, an AI-manipulated clip surfaced showing an exaggerated version of the interaction. Many viewers called it out as fake. The presence of deepfakes complicates the conversation. Now you must judge whether viral footage is authentic or artistically enhanced. That undermines the certainty of outrage and raises a broader question. Are we reacting to a real moment or a manufactured one? The answer matters for reputation and consequences. The Times of India. What this actually means for North Carolina football and Belichick. Practically, almost nothing, unless it becomes a pattern. Teams are judged by performance on game day, by practice habits, and by how they respond after losses. If Belichick's program begins to show slippage, discipline lapses, poor preparation, or schematic breakdowns, then clips like this will be used as evidence. If this was a one-off human moment, it'll be a footnote. But there's also real risk to sustained narrative damage. When opponents in the media frame a coach as distracted, recruits, donors, and the broader fan base notice. That's why public perception matters. Belichick's response at the podium, measured and focused on football, was the right move. Redirect attention back to evaluation and adjustments. Let the tape of the game determine the coach's fate, not the highlight reel. 3 takeaways the program should heed. Immediately, 1, control the narrative. If non-staff members will be visible on the sideline, make it official and explain roles. Transparency kills gossip. 2, keep optics tight on game days. The no distractions policy isn't about freezing human connection. It's about minimizing moments that are easily misinterpreted. A quick PR note explaining who was where and why would have neutralized some of the steam. 3, address the deepfake problem proactively. Teams should be ready to call out doctored clips and provide authentic footage or timestamps to calm social media storms. The bigger picture: celebrity, coaching, and the social media age. This moment isn't just about one coach whispering to one person. It's an emblem of modern sports: constant camera coverage, instant social judgment, and the weaponization of optics. Great coaches have always had to manage message as much as scheme. Today's margin for error is even smaller. If you're a Belichick fan, the sensible response is to watch the games that matter and let the on-field results decide the story. If you're a critic, remember that one clip isn't a thesis. The season, practices, recruiting, and game adjustments will reveal whether this was a misfire of optics or a symptom of a deeper issue. Either way, for now, the headline is a teachable moment in the era of constant scrutiny. In modern sports, every second a camera rolls can become the next day's verdict. Yahoo Tetao. Bill Belichick's sideline moment went viral, and not for a play call. Before North Carolina's upset loss at UCF, the Tar Heels head coach was caught on camera having a casual pregame chat with his girlfriend on the sideline. By kickoff, the clip had circled the internet, and what started as an odd footnote quickly blew up into a debate about sideline etiquette, respect for the opponent, and how college coaches should present themselves under the spotlight. Belichick, a 6-time Super Bowl winner now in year 1 at UNC, has always carried a larger-than-life reputation. That's why the optics matter. Fans and media don't expect to see a head coach deep in conversation with a non-staff guest while the team prepares for kickoff. Critics called it unprofessional. Supporters said it was harmless. The reaction reached another level when former NFL coach Jon Gruden publicly called it out, asking whether anyone had seen a sideline interaction like that before, and making clear he thought it crossed a line. The controversy didn't stop there. After the game, UCF head coach Scott Frost pointed out that Belichick referred to his program as Central Florida, a small, loaded detail that UCF staff and fans read as dismissive. In a sport where pride and identity drive team culture, that phrasing stung. Frost framed it as fuel for his players, calling it disrespectful and saying it fit a narrative of being overlooked. Exactly the chip teams like UCF lean on when they're trying to upset a blue blood program. So why did this become a story beyond a viral clip? First, perception. College football atmospheres are less controlled than the NFL's. The sideline is sacred prep space. When a coach appears disconnected from the pregame focus, observers assume complacency, distraction, or worse, a lack of respect. Second, context. Belichick's move from the NFL to a high-profile college job carries intense scrutiny. Every gesture is magnified because he's not just coaching, he's rebranding a historic program. Third, consequence. UCF beat UNC 34-9. The loss made the optics feel worse. Fans and pundits quickly tied the casual pregame moment to the team's flat performance, whether that connection was fair or not. There's also a leadership angle. Critics argue head coaches set tone and accountability. Pregame rituals, walkthroughs, and final motivational moments are part of how teams sharpen focus. When a coach appears informal at that moment, it can undercut the message inside the locker room and send mixed signals to players and staff, especially when the result on the scoreboard supports the worry. Look, people will always read too much into images. At the same time, coaches know their actions are public and symbolic. Whether you think Belichick's chat was innocuous or emblematic of something deeper, the reaction tells us one thing. In college football, Optics matter. If you're a coach, you're not just evaluated on X's and O's, you're judged on every public gesture. What stayed with fans after this game was not only the upset itself, but the image of Belichick smiling on the sideline while his team fell flat. That picture is now part of the story every analyst will use when they chart UNC's early season identity. And for a program trying to reestablish itself, it's a reminder that leadership is visible long before the first whistle.